Good evening. Welcome again for those who just joined us. We'll be starting very soon with the meditation and the opening puja. I hope you are seated in a quiet place, and please remember to mute your microphone during the meditation session. Okay, over to you, Brother Piya.
Okay.
You can start now.
Right.
Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu miccachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now let us get into a comfortable and balanced position, posture. And keep our eyes closed and relax the whole body. Have a quick check to see if there's any part of your body is not comfortable. Gently adjust yourself so that it is just right. Take a few minutes to do this at the start. Balance. Today we'll do a bit of breath meditation. So breathe easy, relax, normal breathing. Like a baby. As you breathe, focus on the breath. You know you are breathing. Focus on the knowing. Now, to help you, we'll start off with counting. Now, this is an optional stage for those people. For some people, this may work. If it works for you, use it. As you breathe in and breathe out, count 1. In, out, 2. In, out, 3. In, out, 4. In, out, 5. Now you can stop at 5 and then go back to 1 again. 1 to 5, 1 to 5. Or you can go up to 10. 1 to 10, 1 to 10. Anytime you're not sure of the number or you forgot, just start again. Don't think about the number. The counting is just to help us push away immediate distractions. Don't count less than 5, too small. Don't count more than 10, too big. As you count, smile. In, out, once, smile. In, out, two, smile, and so on. Relax, breathing. Sometimes your breathing may go a little deep, sometimes shallow, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Doesn't matter. Now, for those of you who find that counting doesn't help, it's all right. You can go straight into the second stage, the in-out stage. When the breath has come in, note it as in, smile. When the breath has gone out, mentally say out, smile. Now, if you are tired, you will find that you may get a little sleepy while meditating. That is all right. In fact, it is good. You learn to rest. If you do fall asleep, it is still all right. You are sitting and sleeping like those forest monks, like the Buddha. So just rest. You're taking the rest that you deserve. And then when you come out of your rest, you find you're very fresh and continue with your meditation. The breathing meditation has no goal, no aim. You just watch your breath. We watch the breath to free our minds from thoughts. There is just the breath. If you stay focused, keep your mind on the breath, you may notice the spaces between the breath in and out becoming bigger. The space becomes bigger, more peaceful. Then you are ready for the third stage, space. Breathe in, space. Breathe out, space. In, space, and so on. And smile whenever you like. Don't rush the meditation. Try your best to do stage 1 and stage 2. When you do it properly, then stage 3 will arise on its own. You will notice the spaces growing, more peaceful, even bright and joyful. Sometimes you get a moment of joy, just a bit of joy, and you feel very good. It doesn't matter, just be at peace. If the space is getting longer, just smile at it. Smile at the space. If you feel the peace is very deep, just don't do anything, just feel it. Only when you notice some thoughts coming, then you can gently whisper, peaceful, peaceful, or just smile, whichever one works better. You may not get all this during our sitting here, but remember all these steps when you practice on your own. As you watch the spaces between the breaths, you find it gets more and more peaceful. In fact, it is so peaceful, you find that even just to say in out is very loud. So this is the 4th stage, silence. No need to say anything. In fact, we don't do anything, just watch the breath. By this time, the breath is so gentle, so subtle. It is part of your mind already, very peaceful. No need to say anything, just feel the peace, the joy in your body and mind. And sit as long as you can. Just let it be. This is the 4th stage. Now at this point, please review your practice. Remember the peaceful moments, joyful moments. They will help you in your future meditations or anytime you need inner peace. Also notice any difficulties that you have and how you can correct them, improve your meditation next time. This is during the review period, just before you end your meditation. Now for each of you, try to look around and see what kind of environment makes you want to meditate more. Some people like to meditate in a bright space. Some people like a dark place. Some people like to meditate with water in front. Some people like to have nature around. So find out what kind of environment helps your meditation. Each person is different. And then try to find a kind of environment so that you get very good meditation. Now you may open your eyes. Just sitting for a short while. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now we begin our study. We're going to GSS 2021, lesson 9. Now today we're going to do 3 suttas about happy married life. It's about this, you can say the first lay couple in Buddhism, if you like. These two wonderful, this wonderful couple, Nakula Pitā and Nakula Mata. It is not their real name. It's a nickname. Nakula actually is their son. So Nakula Mata means mother. Notice that was very similar. In fact, Mata in Latin also same, and Pitā also in Latin same. Pitā is father. Okay. So the first sutta is called Sama Jīvi Sutta 1. So there are 2 suttas. Sama is same as in Malay. Sama means same, harmonious. Jīvi comes from jiva, meaning life, harmonious living. Okay, Sama Jīvi Sutta 1. The first discourse on harmonious living. A Anguttara, A 4.55. The book of 4, sutta number 55. The theme is living as ideal living partners here and hereafter. Okay, so this sutta teaches us how can loving couples live together even in the lives to come. Okay, let's look at the sutta. Let's go straight into the sutta on page 2. Sama Jīvi Sutta 1, the first discourse on harmonious living, A 4.55. Thus have I heard at one time the Blessed One was staying in the deer park in the Besakala forest at Sungsumaragiri in Bhagga country. Okay, this area is really way out. It's not in Savatthi, it is way out in the countryside. Now it is a deer park. There are many deer parks in India. Even today, you can still see this deer park. And the deers are small, spotted deer. And this place is called Besakala Forest, and it's near this place called Sungsumara Giri. Sungsumara is one of the words for crocodile, and Giri means hill. The legend went that people living in that area, that they heard this crocodile making loud sounds. And the people there is called Bhagga. Now this is not one of the 16 great states, so it's one of the small tribes. It's a very remote area, and we have Nakula Pitā, Nakula Mata, a pair of loving couple. They met the Buddha, and the Buddha often comes to this area because this area is quiet, forested. The moment they saw the Buddha, they had this rather wonderful, amazing experience. They went up to the Buddha and started calling him my son, our son. And the monks were surprised, and the Buddha said, well, this is not surprising at all, because this couple had been the Buddha's parents for 500 lives. And then the Buddha's grandparents for another 500 lives. And then the Buddha's uncle and aunt for another 500 lives. So you can imagine this wonderful close connection. But in a sense, we all here in this Zoom gathering, we are connected to each other. the fact that we are able to spend time together from various countries listening to the Dharma. We have been doing all this before, and we are continuing doing this. We are, building this wonderful bond of goodness and happiness. So this is what fellowship, spiritual friendship is about. Keeping this wonderful bond of goodness among us. So this is in the morning here. Then in the morning, the Blessed One, having dressed himself, taking robe and bowl, went to the house of Nakula, the house lord, Nakula Pitā. Having gone there, he sat down at a prepared seat. So in this case, Nakula Pitā has got a place prepared for the Buddha and offering food in the house. Then the house lord Nakula Pitā and house lady Nakula Mata approached the Blessed One. Having approached the Blessed One, saluted him and then sat down at one side. Seated thus at one side, the house lord Nakula Pitā said this to the Blessed One. So now the man is speaking. Nakula Pitā is talking to the Buddha, section 2. Bhante, meaning sir, addressing the Buddha. Ever since the house lady, housewife, Nakula Mata, was brought here in marriage as a mere girl, when I was myself still a mere lad, I do not recall ever having wronged her, even in thought, much less in deed. Bhante, we wish that we would be able to see one another not only in this very life, but also to be able to see one another in the lives to come. Right, so it's very simple gesture here, a wish even if you like. We have this loving couple. They were like in traditional India, they were married very young. So they have been together for so long, many lives. So they asked the Buddha, how can we, loving others so much, how can we live together again as couple in the future? So this is a wonderful story for couples who love each other very much. No? So then this is what the Buddha says, the instruction given by the Buddha, section 2.3. Before that, Nakula Mata also says the same thing, section 2.2. No? Then Nakula Mata too said this to the Blessed One. The words are just a few words change only to make it feminine. Bhante, ever since the house lord Nakula Pitā was brought here as a mere lad, when I was myself a mere girl, I do not recall ever having wronged him, even in thought, much less in deed. Bhante, we wish that we would be able to see one another, not only in this very life, but also able to see one another in lives to come. So both have the same wish. Okay. Then 2.3, the Buddha replies. So this is quite a direct sutta, question answer. If house lords, notice the Buddha use house lords plural, both wife and husband wish to see one another, not only in this very life, but also to be able to see one another in the lives to come, they should have 4 things, 4 qualities. Harmonious faith. Now imagine if you know Malay, you say, oh, this is easy to remember. Sama sada, same faith, something like that, yeah? But that is too local, too modern, okay? Sama here more like harmonious. You can never have like same, you can't measure faith. So it's kind of harmonious, connecting to each other. Harmonious virtue, sama sila. So both keep the precepts together. Harmonious charity, sama jaga. They're generous in the same way. They practice charity together. You see, so this is a very important teaching, a very well-known teaching. The teaching says, if you give a loan and habitually do that, then you'll be reborn as a rich man, but you'll be alone. I mean, you have lots of servants, or you'll be basically by yourself. Some people enjoy that. But then there are those who like to gather together friends and so on, organize dana and so on. So if you do that, you encourage people to give, or you share part of giving with others, then you have both wealth in the future as well as many good friends. So this is one of the good karma about giving. Yeah? So here you see husband and wife, they practice charity together. And then 4, harmonious wisdom, sama panya. So this is where they learn from each other, they learn from Buddha. However, there's something interesting here. In the next sutta, you'll find that the wife is slightly wiser in the next sutta. Okay, so here, okay, now the Buddha concludes this part and says, then they shall be able to see one another, not only in this very life, but also able to see one another in the lives to come. So these are the four things: faith, virtue, charity, wisdom. Saddha, sila, jaga, panya. Okay, so this is practice for lay people. No? Now this can be elaborated into 12 aspects. So earlier on page 1, okay, you can see not 12, sorry, 6 aspects. Right? The 6 conditions for conciliation. Further up, page 1. Coming further up some more. Yes, okay, there you are. So this is more in general among, say, family, friends. How do you stay as good friends? The first 3 has to do with metta. Show loving kindness, accepting others, mentally embracing others. So 1, showing loving kindness through bodily deeds by your action. You're kind, sharing, and so on. Okay. Number 2, showing loving kindness through speech. Your words are kind and friendly. Metta vacikamma. Showing loving kindness through thought. So even in your mind, when your friends are away, you wish them well, happy. Then number 4, mutual sharing of what one has. Satarana bogi. This is more like, satarana means something like public, so we share everything together. We enjoy each other's company, like New Year, you know, the kind of wonderful spirit. 5, harmony or compatibility in moral virtue. That is already mentioned earlier. And the last one also mentioned earlier, and under faith, you can combine this with wisdom also. Harmony in view, ditti samanyata. So we share the same right view, in other words. Okay, so that way we don't get lost. So these are in greater detail 6 qualities. All right. So this is the teaching given to the couple. Then the Buddha ends the teaching by giving the teaching them in verse. Okay, 3 verses. Let's go down again. So the Buddha says, when both are faithful, easy to speak to, restrained, living by Dharma, both of them, wife and husband, speaking loving words to one another, blessed and with abundance, they shall rise again in a prosperous home. Dejected are their foes, for both wife and husband, harmonious in virtue, having lived the Dharma here, both matching in virtue and piety, blissful in the Deva world, they enjoy whatever pleasure they desire. Okay? So to be reborn, even as Devas together. So this is quite just that. This is a short sutta saying you want to be kind to each other, share the same faith, keep your precepts together, be charitable together, and study sutta together. It is one way of putting it very simply. Yeah? Build up your wisdom together. Of course, and someone may ask me a question later on. I'll just give a quick answer first. Later, I'll give a long answer. What if, you know, a Buddhist marries a non-Buddhist? We do have such cases, you know. So here again, there must be some overlapping of qualities. Of course, in this case, the love has to be very strong. And if the love is strong, there is a respect for each other. You see the good qualities in each other's religion, in the sense of each other's practice. Okay, so that's my short answer for the moment. So if someone asks the question, I will try to give a longer answer. Okay. All right. So this is Sutta 1. I'm slowly building up the momentum because the last sutta is the longest and also lots of deep teachings there. Okay, so Sutta 1, just as a reminder, is called Sama Jīvi Sutta 1, on how couples can love each other and remain couples for many lives until they become streamliners, until they are awakened. Now we go to the second sutta. Bring a bit slowly so that you remember the sutta name. The previous sutta is A4.55. Now we go to A6.16. This is called Nakula Pitu Sutta. The name is very similar to the last sutta, which is the next line. You have the sutta name that is called Nakula Pitā. Now, pitu here is what is called a stem word, stem, S-T-E-M, like a plant stem. It's a word we don't use in the sentence. It is a dictionary word. So I follow the Burmese tradition just to give a unique name. So Nakula Pitu Sutta. That is called to Nakula's father. So their son is called Nakula. But we know very little, almost nothing about this Nakula. The commentary only mentions the boy, Dharaka, the boy, Nakula, that's all. He must have been important, but we have lost the details about him. A6.16. Theme: how a wise, loving wife counsels a dying husband. Well, he seems to be very sick. That's why, he's said to be dying. This is Nakula. He's quite old, so he's very worried about the family. And this man, strong, silent type, so he doesn't want to talk much. And this is when the wife, Nakula Mata, counsels the husband. If I'm not wrong, at this point, they are both stream winners already, no mistaken, or maybe soon later they'll become stream winners. The point is that even stream winners, they can be married, they do worry a bit because they're not arahats yet. The thing is, stream winners have great faith, they keep the precepts, and they're very happy together. So we have a case here of a wife counseling the husband. Let's look at this sutta. Go further down, page 8, I think. Nakula Pitu Sutta, this is called Nakula's father, A6.16. At one time, the Blessed One was staying in the deer park in Bisakala forest at Sungsumara Giri in Baga country. Now, at that time, the house lord Nakula Pitā was sick, in pain, and seriously ill. All right, so that's the background. Then the house lady or housewife, Nakula Mata, said to the house lord Nakula Pitā. So imagine the scenario. The wife is sitting beside the bed. This is like bedside counseling. So she says, remember, this is the wife, Nakula Mata, speaking. Verse 2 or section 2. Now, house lord, do not have any longing at the time of dying. Okay. This is the thesis. This is the key teaching in the whole sutta. Has been highlighted for you. Do not have any longing at the time of dying. House lord, painful is dying when you are with longing. So notice here that imagine if Nakula Pitā is dying and the wife is very calm. See? So obviously she has some level of attainment, very calm, and she's advising the husband. The Blessed One disapproves of dying with longing. So she knows the Buddha's teaching, so she's reminding the husband. But remember, in doing so, she's also giving us the benefit of the teaching. Right, so now she will mention a list of 6 qualities, reassuring the husband, 6 qualities, 3 worldly ones and 3 spiritual ones. I've given you the heading there. Okay, number 1 is economic reassurance. Now, house lord, it might be. So here, Nakula Mata can't read the husband's mind, so he just say it might be that you think after I'm gone, the house lady Nakula Mata is incapable of supporting the boys and maintaining the household. So we know they have sons. So the wife tells her husband, okay, you're sick, you don't want to say anything. Maybe you're worried about me. You think that I can't support the family after you're gone. House lord, you should not see things that way. House lord, I'm skilled in spinning cotton and carding cotton wool, right? So, actually carding, By right, you should put cutting, we should translate cutting method wool first. In other words, she'll comb this wool, and then after that spin them into threads. Okay, she's very good at doing that. You can see some in all movies, this is done. House Lord, after your passing, I am capable of supporting the boys and maintaining the household. Therefore, House Lord, do not have any longing at the time of dying. House Lord, painful is dying when you are with longing. The Blessed One disapproves of dying with longing, right? So this is of course, an ancient story, how long ago the wife tells her husband, look, I can take care of the family, okay? Well, nowadays we say, don't worry, I have enough savings, okay, for the children, something like that. But here you can see this really warm aura of love and communication. Number 2, emotional reassurance. 2.2. Now, House Lord, it might be that you think, after I'm gone, the house lady Nakula Mata will go to another household. In other words, will remarry. Okay. Notice she speaks in the third person. It is old style way of talking. House Lord, you should not see things that way. So basically, the wife is saying, don't think like that, okay? House Lord, both of you and I know that throughout the 16 years of household life, I've observed celibacy. So, and they were close together, in other words. Yeah? So don't worry, I won't remarry, all right? Therefore, House Lord, do not have any longing at the time of dying. House Lord, painful is dying when you are with longing. The Blessed One disapproves of dying with longing. Notice this is called a refrain, the last 2 lines. This is the teaching. We are reminded of this again and again. And here he's also, the lady is also saying, this is what the Buddha has taught us. Now we come to the third one, spiritual reassurance. Now, House Lord, it might be that you think, after I'm gone, the house lady, Nakula Mata, might have no wish to see the Blessed One, might have no wish to see the order of monks. House Lord, you should not see things that way. House Lord, after your passing, I will have all the more wish to see the Blessed One, all the more wish to see the order of monks, because by then she'll be all alone by herself, right? So obviously she wants to go to the monastery. Therefore, House Lord, do not have any longing at the time of dying. House Lord, painful is dying when you are with longing. The Blessed One disapproves of dying with longing. So this is the worldly advice, okay? The last 3 are the spiritual ones. So here, basically, in summary, Nakula Mata is saying, if we think our time is coming, just be happy, let go. You're living the world, so don't carry the world with you. You can't take it with you. So just let go so that you will be reborn happily. Right, now we go to advice number 4 that Nakula Mata gives to the husband. Section 2.4. Now, House Lord, it might be that you think, after I'm gone, the house lady Nakula Mata might not fulfill the precepts, might not keep the precepts. House Lord, you should not see things that way. House Lord, for as long as there are the Blessed One's white-clad female lay disciples who fulfill the precepts, I'm one amongst them. So what she's saying, she'll always keep the precepts, she's always follow the Buddha's teaching. Okay, now we have a new refrain, new section. She calls the Buddha as witness. If anyone should doubt or question this, let him go and ask the Blessed One, who is residing in a deer park in the Bisakala forest at Sung Sumara Giri in Baga country. The Buddha is my witness. In other words, the Buddha is her witness. Therefore, House Lord, do not have any longing at the time of dying. House Lord, painful is dying when you are with longing. The Blessed One disapproves of dying with longing. Now, advice number 5. Meditation. Section 2.5. Now, House Lord, it might be that you think, after I'm gone, the house lady Nakula Mata might not be an attainer of inner mental calm. House Lord, you should not see things that way. House Lord, for as long as There are the Blessed One's white-clad female lay disciples who shall attain inner mental calm. I'm one amongst them. Inner mental calm, meditation, samadhi. Okay. If anyone should doubt or question this, let him go and ask the Blessed One who is residing in the Deer Park in the Besakala forest at Sumsumaragiri in Baga country. Therefore, House Lord, do not have any longing at the time of dying. House Lord, painful is dying when you are with longing. The Blessed One disapproves of dying with longing. And now, Nakula Mata gives the last advice, number 6. And this is about her stream winning nature of both of them, and not just her. 2.6. Now, House Lord, it might be that you think, if I'm gone, the house lady Nakula Mata might not find a footing, a foothold, and solace in the Dharma Vinaya, the teaching and the discipline. Might not be one who has crossed over doubt, gone beyond uncertainty, won full confidence, who, independent of others, dwells in the teacher's teaching. Now, these last 2 lines, we call it stock phrase or pericope. Pericope, stock phrase. You know, it's a fixed passage, meaning referring to stream winning. So notice they're a lay couple, you know, they're married. So the wife tells her husband, maybe you're worried that I won't be a stream winner, right? So here we can take this passage as actually she's declaring her stream winning to the wife, or she will become a stream winner in no time, right? So now we come to the conclusion of what she's teaching, 2.7. House Lord, you should not see things that way, House Lord, for as long as there are the Blessed One's white-clad lay disciples who shall find firm footing, a foothold and solace in this Dhamma Vinaya, cross over doubt, gone beyond uncertainty, won full confidence, who, independent of others, dwell in the teacher's teaching. I am one amongst them. Notice she says, I am one amongst them. So she's saying that she's a stream winner. And if anyone should doubt or question this, let him go and ask the Blessed One who is residing in the Deer Park in the Besakala forest at Sumsumaragiri in the Baga country. And conclusion, therefore, House Lord, do not have any longing at the time of dying. Do not worry, in other words. House Lord, painful is dying when you are with longing. The Blessed One disapproves of dying with longing. Now comes the result of what? Of her wisdom and compassion. Section 3. Now, while the house lord Nakula Pitā was being admonished in this manner by the house lady Nakula Mata, his illness subsided right away. And the house lord Nakula Pitā recovered from his illness. This was how the house lord Nakula Pitā abandoned his illness. So his sickness seems like came more from worry than anything else. Of course, it could really be, I mean, he was very concerned. And here's a beautiful story showing it's not really how these two people behave, it's what we learn from the teaching given here. So now they're very happy together and they go to see the Buddha. So this is the conclusion. In other words, to get the endorsement that this is the Buddha's teaching. Okay, so this is the closing section. 3.2. Then not long after the house lord Nakula Pitā had recovered from his illness, he, leaning on the stick, so it's quite old, leaning on a stick, went to see the Blessed One. Having gone, he saluted the Blessed One and sat down at one side. Seated thus at one side, the Blessed One said this to the house lord Nakula Pitā. It is your gain, house lord. It is your great gain, house lord, for you have the house lady Nakula Mata compassionate, who desires your welfare as your advisor and instructor. Now notice here, you may say, oh, isn't there a part missing? How did the Buddha know about all this? somewhere in between, Nakula Mata must have gone offered dana to the Buddha and told the Buddha about it. So Buddha already knows. Of course, we can also say, oh, the Buddha read their mind, the easy way out. Huh? Basically, the Buddha is saying, wow, Nakula Pitta, you're lucky. You have this very wise and compassionate wife who's your advisor and instructor. 4.2, House Lord, for as long as there are the white-clad female lady disciples of mine who shall fulfill the precepts, the house lady Nakula Mata is one of them, right? So there you are. Here you see, this is the one of the, this is number 4, right? That quality that Nakula Mata mentioned. House Lord, for as long as there are white-clad female lady disciples of mine who shall fulfill the precepts, the house lady Nakula Mata is one amongst them. House Lord, for as long as there are white-clad lady disciples who shall attain inner mental calm, the house lady Nakula Mata is one amongst them. Now notice here, what are we seeing here? The 4.2 is Sila, 4.3 is Samadhi, right? And then obviously the last one is Panya, wisdom, 4.4. Here wisdom refers to attaining of stream winning. House Lord, for as long as there are the white-clad female lady disciples of mine who shall find a firm footing, a foothold, and solace in this teaching and discipline, cross over doubt, go beyond uncertainty, with spiritual confidence, who, independent of others, dwell in the teacher's teaching, the house lady Nakula Mata is one amongst them. So there you are, the Buddha affirms that Nakula Mata is a stream winner. Right, so here you have this. The Buddha only mentions the last 3, which are still with Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Yeah? And the Buddha closes by saying, it is your gain, House Lord, your great gain, House Lord, for you have the house lady Nakula Mata compassionate, who desires your welfare as your advisor and instructor. So there you are. This is a very beautiful story of a couple, lay followers of the Buddha, who love each other and live in the Dharma together. So do read the sutta carefully again, so that you're happy with it. Yeah? Now let us prepare ourselves for the last sutta, which has got a lot of deep Dharma. Okay? And this time we have Nakula Pitta as the main character, the main actor, if you like. So there's still a lot of time before the break. Let's go on to the next sutta, Nakula Pitta Sutta. Yes, very good. So notice Nakula Pitta, this time the word is pitā, father. And WT is World Tipitaka. This was done in Thailand, but now it is no more online. They follow the same as the Burmese 6th Council Tipitaka, and there it is called Nakula Pitu Sutta. The discourse, the translation is the same. Discourse to Nakula's father, S22.1. That is why it's good to know the number, because sometimes the title, which is given long after Buddha's time, they're the same name. So here the number is different, S22.1. The previous 2 suttas from Anguttara, this is from the Samyutta. So once you see Samyutta, that means, oh, this is going to be meditation. There's going to be some meditation in it, or some Dharma in it. And this is the famous quote. The theme is the famous quote, although my body is sick, my mind will not be sick. This is where the famous quote comes from. So let's look at this teaching. Let's go down to the translation, page 20. So by this time, Nakula Pitta is quite old, is very old. So he goes to see the Buddha. Okay, further down. Yes, okay, there you are. S22.1, thus have I heard. At one time, the Blessed One was staying in a deer park in the Besakala forest at Sumsumaragiri in Vagga country. Then the house lord Nakula Pitta went up to the Blessed One, saluted him, and sat down at one side. Sitting thus at one side, the house lord Nakula Pitta said this to the Blessed One. I am now old, Bhante, aged elderly, my time is gone. I've reached the term of my life. Sick in body, always ill. Rarely, Bhante, do I get to see the Venerable Blessed One and the monks who are worthy of esteem. Advise me, Bhante, teach me, Blessed One, for my own good and happiness for a long time. All right, so here you are. We have a very old man who goes to Buddha and says, I'm very old, so can you please teach me something that will be of help, of great help to me? So this addressing the old people. So next time you speak to any relatives, old friends, you can gently simplify or modify this teaching to tell them, although my body is sick, my mind shall not be sick. And then find out what does it mean to say mind is not sick. Simplify it and teach them. Okay, let's look at section 4. The Buddha replies. So it is, House Lord. So it is, House Lord. Sick is this body, House Lord. Burdened, hampered. House Lord, anyone caring for this body who claims even a moment's health would be nothing but foolishness. Right? So this body is like that. Therefore, House Lord, you should train yourself thus. So this is the Buddha's teaching, just one line only, okay? One line. My body may be sick, but my mind will not be sick. Thus, you should train yourself, House Lord. That's all the Buddha said. And Nakula was very happy. He understood, he thought he understood what the Buddha said. Section 5. Then the House Lord Nakula, being satisfied, rejoiced in the Blessed One's word. Standing up, he saluted the Blessed One, keeping him to the right, and then approached the Venerable Sariputta. Having approached the Venerable Sariputta, he saluted him and sat down at one side. All right. So here you see this old man. He goes from the Buddha and he goes to the Sariputta, to the right-hand monk, Sariputta. Okay. So now, in the second part, we have Sariputta's teaching to Nakula. Okay. Now, this teaching is quite deep, so we still have a few minutes. Let's go on as an introduction to this deep teaching first. Nakula meets Sariputta, section 6. As the House Lord Nakula was sitting there at one side, the Venerable Sariputta said this to him. So here you see Sariputta is very engaging. Now, he's an Arahat, but he's full of compassion, right? So you find the Mahayana like to make fun of the Arahats and say Arahats got no compassion and so on. You see Sariputta, although we know him as foremost of the monks with wisdom, he is also foremost of the monks with compassion. We forget that. In the Dhammapada story, there's so many stories showing his great compassion to them, even to novices. No? So here you see Sariputta very engaging. He's the one who talks first to the old Nakula. And Sariputta says, calmly clear are your senses, House Lord. Pure is your countenance. In other words, you look radiant. You must have received a Dharma talk in the presence of the Blessed One today, have you not? Right? So you can see Sariputta is very friendly. He's very happy also looking at Nakula. And Nakula replies, Nakula is very happy. How could it be otherwise, Bhante? Only just now, I was anointed with the ambrosia of the Blessed One's Dharma talk. So his language also is poetic. No? Ambrosia is the food of the gods. Okay, the nectar, if you like. Okay. Especially the Greek gods, they use ambrosia. So he says, I've been fed heavenly food by the Buddha. Actually, it's only one line, you remember. Okay, then Sariputta asks, what kind of ambrosia of a Dhamma talk did the Blessed One anoint you, House Lord? Here, Bhante, I went up to the Blessed One. There's a repetition here. I went up to the Blessed One, saluted him, and sat down at one side. Sitting thus at one side, I said to the Blessed One, I'm now old, Bante, aged, elderly, my time has gone, and so on. So he repeats the whole story, and he said, well, I asked the Buddha a question. I'm getting very old now, so can you please give me a teaching that will help me as a very old man? 7.4. And the Buddha says, therefore, House Lord, you should train yourself thus. My body may be sick, but my mind will not be sick. Right? So this is a teaching the Buddha gave me, said Nakula Pitā. Now, Sariputta, being the wisest of the monk, asks a very wise question. Okay, so this is the start of a new cycle in this sutta. So you can see this. So when you study sutta, you can even study as literature how the stories develop, the cycle within cycles. So this is the second cycle. Starting in verse 8, Sariputta asks Nakula Pitā, but House Lord, did it not occur to you to further ask the Blessed One in return? Thus, how Bante is one sick in body and also sick in mind, and how one is sick in body but not sick in mind, right? So Sariputta basically is asking, did you ask the Buddha the meaning of what you have just heard? So this is where Nakula Pitā is so happy. He said, wow, I understand this. But actually, he has not received the full teaching yet. He has received you can say, like a title of the book, So he replies, section 9, Bhante, we would even come from afar to the Venerable Sariputta's presence to know the meaning of this statement. It would be very good if the Venerable Sariputta would clarify the meaning of this statement. This again is a stock passage. A lot of people, when they want to hear the teaching, they will say that themselves. Will come all the way, even with a small bag, just to listen to this teaching. All right, so the timing is just nice. We'll find out what did Sariputta teach. What is the meaning of the one sentence the Buddha gave? And this covers the rest of the sutta. So we'll take a short break and we'll come back and finish the study.
Okay, thank you, Piya. Everyone will take a 5 minutes break. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We can continue now.
Okay. So now Sariputta elaborates the meaning of the short sentence the Buddha gave as a teaching to the old man Nakula Pitā. Section 10. In that case, House Lord, listen, pay close attention to it, I will speak. Right? Notice these are what the Buddha uses to. And Nakula Pitā says, yes, Bhante. 11. The Venerable Sariputta said this. Now, House Lord, and how, House Lord, is the body sick and the mind sick too? So sick body, sick mind. Section 12. Here, House Lord, an untutored, ordinary person who sees not the noble ones, unskilled in the way of the noble ones, untrained in the way of the noble ones. In other words, people who don't really care about the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. The noble ones refer to all the 4 kinds of saints, beginning with the stream winners who don't care about stream winning. They don't even know how to do this. They don't listen to the teachings about stream winning. Who sees not the true individuals? These are the people who practice, unskilled in the ways of the true individuals, untrained in the way of the true individuals. Regards form as self, or self as possessing form, or form as in self, or self as in form. So here we have 4 kinds of views regarding nature of form. Now, it's a little deep, don't worry, I'm going to explain to you these 4 ideas in a while. So in other words, basically, Sariputta is talking about the self-identity view. Now this is understandable because we're talking about stream winning now. The wife, Nakula Mata, is a stream winner. There's no mention Nakula Pitā as stream winner here, nor in the previous sutta. But this teaching is very interesting because it's about stream winning, overcoming self-identity view. So here Sariputta is talking about this person whose body is sick, mind also sick. Next line, he lives obsessed by the notion, I am form, form is mine. I am this body is mine, kind of idea. Okay. As he lives obsessed by these notions, I am form, form is mine, that form changes and alters. On account of the change and alteration of form, there arise in him sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, and despair. Right? So he becomes saddened and frightened by the nature of change through form. Okay. Okay, this is the key passage, all right? So what we should always do is, once you reach the key passage, I've highlighted in the Sutta Discovery series, we highlight the keyword, form, right? So there are only two chances here. One is, the next one could be the 5 or 6 senses, right? Form and then sound, smell, or the next one could be one of the 5 aggregates. When you look at this section 13, round number 2, brackets 2, the next item is feeling. So once you know, oh, okay, this is about the 5 aggregates. And if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see all the 5 aggregates are mentioned there. All right. So let's look at this, that important line, form as self, self as possessing form, form as in self, and self as in form. Okay. Now, this is in section 4 of your notes. When after the class, you can read this up yourself. I'm giving you some extra details which are not found in the notes. So, form as self. So in other words, there are 4 kinds of wrong views regarding self, soul. How do people have the idea of self or soul regarding themselves? So in this first wrong view, they regard the form as self. Form equals self, in other words. So this is the materialist view. Right? In fact, most you find modern people who are wealthy, healthy, they have this kind of view that the body and the soul are the same thing. Okay, so when the body dies, the soul, the self also dies. So this is the meaning. Form equals self, right? So this is the first wrong view, the materialist view. After that, nothing more, all right? That kind of idea. Then the second idea is that self as possessing form. Self as possessing form. Here in the Patisambhida Magga, one of those canonical Abhidharma books, self as possessing form is like a tree and its shadow. You see, the tree has a shadow. Okay. Now, in the first case, form equals self is like the flame and the lamp. Okay, they are together, right? So when the lamp wick goes out, the flame also goes out. In the second case, it's like a tree and the shadow. What does this mean? This means it's like the belief in the eternal soul, but the soul is separate, like a shadow, is separate from the body. So this is the kind of belief in God religions, right? The soul is created by some almighty God. So this is the belief, second wrong belief, eternal soul that is separate from the body. All right, so this is a wrong view, self as possessing form. Now the third wrong view, self as rather form is in the self. Form is in the self. So this is like the Patisambhida Magga gives the example of the mind, which is formless, is located like the smell of the flower. The scent, the perfume, the fragrance is in the flower. You don't see it, but it's in the flower. Okay? This is the case of the Brahmanical belief, the ancient Indian belief, the human soul being like a spark from the heavenly universal soul. There's this big universal soul in the heaven, and we are just a spark of it that fell from heaven. And our aim is to go back to that original big Godhead or Brahman, as it is called in heaven. Eh? So this is the third kind of wrong view, form as in self. Okay? The last one, self as in form. Okay, this is the most common belief if you look around. The animistic and popular belief of the disembodied soul. This soul can move around by itself. Okay, and then the 7 months you find them walking around according to popular belief. So this is the soul that can leave the body at any time at will. Okay, this is a fourth kind of beliefs. So here you see Sariputta and the Buddha are giving these 4 kinds of wrong views. You can listen to this recording again to revise the idea or read up your notes and look up the references. Eh? In case if you find that your notes don't have enough information in this section 4, what I've said just now, you can contact us. We will send you the latest version with all these extra notes. All right, so in this first wrong view, the person thinks that form is that kind of soul, right? But some people don't think form is the soul. They think the feeling is the self. Look at section 13. This is the second wrong view, brackets 2. He regards feeling as self or self as possessing feeling, feeling as in self or self as in feeling. He lives obsessed with the notions, I am feeling, feeling is mine. As he lives obsessed by these notions, I am feeling, feeling is mine, and that feeling changes and alters. And on account of the change and alteration of feeling that there arise in him, sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, and despair. So some people say, oh, okay, I believe that my feeling is what is my soul, right? But then feelings change. Now, the third view, section 14, is perception. And this is a bit more tricky. Perception is how we recognize things, right? So here, this person thinks the feeling is the soul, right? So, and apply all the 4 wrong views there. So I won't go into this. And then the 4th wrong view, section 15, he thinks that formations, the way our karma acts in our mind, that is our soul, okay? So, and the same words apply again here. And then the 5th wrong view is that consciousness is the self. Okay, now this is also quite common. The self as consciousness as self, self as possessing consciousness, consciousness as in self, and self as in consciousness. But consciousness changes all the time, right? So these are the 4 wrong views. These are the 4 ideas about self applied to the 5 aggregates. 4 times 5, you get 20 wrong views. These are called the 20 self-identity views. They're all wrong views, right? So section 17, thus house Lord is the mind sick, is the body sick, and the mind sick too, right? So these are 4 wrong views we should get rid of. Now we come to the positive teaching, the wholesome teaching, which is the last part of the sutta, the learned noble disciple. 18, and how house Lord is the body sick, but the mind not sick. Here, house Lord, the learned noble disciple, who sees the noble ones, skilled in the way of the noble ones, trained in the way of the noble ones, who see the true individuals and is skilled in the way of the true individuals, skilled in the way of the true individual. So basically here, we look up to the 3 jewels, to the 4 kinds of saints, and we think about stream winning, the meaning, and then we learn to slowly aspire to attain stream winning in this life itself. He does not regard form as self, nor self as possessing form, nor form as in self, nor self as in form. It doesn't matter whether you know the meaning of this or not. You just say, I don't accept any idea of this form as soul, right? He lives unobsessed by the notions, I am form, form is mind. We don't have this idea. We don't identify with the body. We don't say this is my body. It's all changing all the time. But yet you respect it, you stay healthy, you take care of it, because it is impermanent, it is fragile. That form changes and alters. With the change and alteration of form, there do not arise in him sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, or despair. Because we know things change, so we accept change. He does not regard feeling as self, nor self as possessing feeling, nor feeling as in self, nor self as in feeling. He lives unobsessed by the notions, I am feeling, feeling is mine. He doesn't have this idea. As he lives unobsessed by these notions, I am feeling, feeling is mine, that feeling changes and alters. With the change and alteration of feeling, there do not arise in him sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain. Right? So you notice pain, pleasure arising, liking, disliking arising, so what is nature of life. 21. He does not regard perception as self, nor self as possessing perception, nor perception as in self, nor self as in perception. He lives unobsessed by the notion, I am perception, perception is mine. As he lives unobsessed by these notions, I am perception, perception is mine. That perception changes and alters. With the change and perception, alteration of perception, there do not arise in him sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, or despair. 22 is the fourth right view. He does not regard formations as self. Right? You can think of this as karma, as self, nor self as possessing formations, nor formation as in self, nor self as in formations. He lives unobsessed by the notions, I am formations, formations are mine. He lives not obsessed with these notions, I am formations, formations are mine. These formations change and alter. With the change and alteration of formations, there do not arise in him sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, and despair. He does not regard consciousness as self, nor self as possessing consciousness, nor consciousness as in self, nor self as in consciousness. In other words, doesn't see self and consciousness as connected at all. He lives unobsessed by the notions, I am consciousness, consciousness is mine. And as he lives unobsessed by the notions, I am consciousness, consciousness is mine, that consciousness changes and alters. With the change and alteration of consciousness, there do not arise in him sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, or despair. Thus, house lot is the body sick, but the mind not sick. This is what the Venerable Sariputta said, and House Lord Nakula Pitta joyfully approved of the Venerable Sariputta's word. Now, the last line, 25, probably means that at that time, Nakula Pitta was already a stream winner. So, as you understand, that's also a sadhu to this. Anyway, according to tradition, according to suttas, they both are stream winners. So there you are. So we have, this is the last in the 3 suttas which we have studied today. And now we can go on to question time.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Piya, for explaining the suttas. Brothers and sisters in the Dharma, it's time for the question and answer. Please feel free to ask questions by writing on the chat box, or you can raise your hand to ask the questions. And gentle reminder to please leave your video on for better interaction. Thank you. And Sister Isim will take over the Q&A. Sister Isim.
Thank you, Sister Wendy. Thank you, Teacher Brother Piya, for the sutta teaching and explanation. Very good explanation. Let me read out the first question from the chat box from Puja. What if the marriage has been bad? Do you make a wish not to ever meet again?
You know, this is a very important question. We will meet each other again in two ways. One, if we love each other very much, and the other, if we hate each other very much. Both ways will connect you into the future. You notice how we live even today. There are people who are close and nice to us, and there are people who, for some reason, are always nasty to us. And this is because of past karma. And there are many such stories, you know, where people hate each other, they curse each other, and they say, next life to get you, and then it happens again and again. So that is a story about this kind of this repetitive hatred. That is why the Buddha advises us to do loving kindness meditation, to even show love to your enemy. Because when you show love to your enemy, the hatred only comes one way, you know, but then it's got no place to rest on. Because hatred attracts hatred, and hatred breeds hatred. Hatred will receive the hatred. You receive it, give back, go back and forth, back and forth. But if you do not return that hatred, you return it with love, meaning you accept this person as he is. To respect someone means you take that person as he is. Remember, someone who is wicked, someone who's trying to hurt you, obviously see you as a better person, and as jealous of you, have difficulty accepting this goodness. He sees himself as less. You say, why does this person be better than me? So you try all his best to make you suffer. That's the reason. So you send out your loving kindness to this person. May you be well and happy. That's why we say, in order to practice the precepts well, we must have lots of loving kindness. Because when you have a lot of loving kindness, then you say, oh, I don't want to destroy any life. I want to see that life somehow will grow well, take care of themselves. You don't want to take what's not yours. You do not want to commit sexual misconduct. You do not want to lie to hurt people. At the same time, you do not want to tell truth which hurt people either. Wise speech, in other words, talking the right things at the right time. And the last one is to keep your mind clear so that you can do all these things rightly. So this is where, remember, if people try to hurt you, people who are bad out there, we show them compassion because they don't have that joy and peace that you have. And they do not know what love is. So they are asking for help, in a sense, in a very strange way, but they're like little children. You see little children, when they do not know how to show their joy or love when they want something, they hurt others. It's like that. So yes, but when this other person is your spouse, it can be really difficult. So here again, you have to use your wisdom and compassion. Wisdom is how to protect yourself, how to teach this person. Compassion is try to be kind to this person, even when this person doesn't deserve it. It's not easy, but that's your training. Having said that, you should examine the situation in such a way, how can you help this other person so that he doesn't hurt himself, doesn't create too much bad karma, right? So this is something you've got to think for yourself. How can I do this? Here, I'll tell a little story, okay? Apparently, I was told it's a real story. There was this lady who always comes for Dharma talks, you know, and they always come without smiling, just listen, do whatever is to be done, meditate, sit quietly, never smiles. Then one day, this lady was very happy, was smiling. So the teacher asked, "See, you know, I've been coming here with all this long face, and you're not happy, but now you're happy. Why is that?" He said, "Well, I've been following what you told me the Buddha teaches, to be compassionate, to be patient. So my husband is abusive, beats me up, so I just keep quiet about it. I just let him beat me, and I maintain peace and smiling face and gentle face. Not smiling at being beaten up, but you know, being kind, doesn't answer back." Until one day, this husband became very curious, wondering what's wrong with his wife, you know. Although he gets beaten up and scolded, she doesn't react, you see. So then the wife calmly tells the husband, you know, it's because I learned from the Buddha that actually you're suffering, you know. So I'm here as your like your sounding board. So if you feel happy beating me up, well, go on, beat me up, and if that makes you happy, go ahead, But one day you will learn, actually, you need to be happy yourself. So the poor husband broke down and cried. He broke down and cried. He learned this really wonderful lesson, which his wife, in her great compassion, taught him. Of course, this one is an ideal story. It doesn't easily happen. You got to bear so much suffering. But here's one story. There are other cases. I've told you before about that. Remember that young teacher college student whose mother, rejected her, and then after she had to support herself to college, and then she graduated, became a teacher. Now she got money, and then the mother is nice to her. So I told her, I said, well, now your mother suffered, your mother was not educated. She's also the victim of culture. Culture looked down on women. Chinese culture looked down on women, So now you have learned Buddhism. Go back to her and say you forgive her, that you have learned the Dharma. Now you understand her position. She is in great difficulty. And by just saying, I forgive you, you break the karmic chain. I mean, you have the right, to say, okay, my mother never hurt me. She's not even my mother. You never loved me, never take care of me, and use all the philosophy, sociology, and whatever. But here, you are humble. You say, okay, here this woman I call mother, but she has not treated me well. But I'm not going to carry this burden with me, because if you say I am right, and you reject this mother, you don't care about her, the karma is still there, then your children will repeat the cycle with you. And we don't want that to happen, see? So by breaking the cycle now, you will not allow it to happen to you also. But that's not the real point. The point is we want to make other people happy too. So these are some of the stories, and try to learn something from there and see what can happen, all right? Try to build up. At least just keep on showing this metta, loving kindness, and even if it doesn't seem to change, that's what you see from your side, but something will happen to this person. And if you do meet again next life, the circumstances somehow would be better. This good karma that you have been cultivating now, the habitual karma, will follow you into the next life. That's one way I'm saying it. Now, I've spoken only in a few minutes, so maybe you should listen to the whole clipping again and then reflect on it. Okay? So I hope, take this other person like a teacher. Suffering is often a teacher, not an easy teacher, but still a teacher. And we can learn something from it. Okay? All right, next question.
Okay, thank you, Brother Piya. The next question from Go HK. Nakula Mata self-declared herself a stream winner during her counsel to her sick husband, and subsequently was confirmed a stream winner by the Buddha when both she and her husband, who had recovered, met with the Buddha. Does it mean that oneself can know one's attainment as stream winner?
In the case of the Sutta here, of course, it seems quite clear because the Buddha is there. In our case, I would say it's possible with some guard, but you look back in retrospect, because once you have to understand the Sutta very clearly, your mind is clear, and then you look back, you begin to see the cycle and how you have faith, the three jewels, your precepts are strong and so on. Then you can say, it looks like I am a stream winner. So you don't have to declare it, doesn't matter. Important thing is you have this feeling and then you build it up and you find it, you keep the precepts well, you have great faith in the three jewels, and you are independent of others. What others think, what other people, how they view, it doesn't matter to you. You are calm, you're happy, and you are kind to others. That's the important thing. The fact, how you live, how you feel, is the important thing. There's the statement, the declaration is not so important. Okay, so live as a stream winner, but don't pretend to be one. So find out the qualities, follow those qualities. Okay, so remember a bit, what is status? Status, someone confer it to you, give you a title like Dato, Datin, and so on. But the other one is your practice, which gives you the state of a stream winner. Someone who has faith in the three jewels, someone who has overcome self-identity view, someone who is independent of others. Okay. Okay, next question.
Okay, thank you, Brother Piya. The next question from Brother Tan Kim Si. The longest love story ever known is between Sumedha, the present Buddha, and Sumita, who gave Sumedha the lotuses after he performed a noble act of lying over a wet patch for Dipankara Buddha and his entourage to walk across. It was narrated that they became husband and wife for many lives until the last birth of Siddhartha and Yasodhara. Sumedha then already pledged to be the Buddha one day. How to explain for such as husband and wife relationship to attain the final liberation?
Okay, now we're talking about the Buddha here. In other words, he has been building this, he and Yasodhara have been building up this connection over many, many lives, countless lives, you know, we can't imagine a number. So we're looking at the end of it. We're talking about Buddha, remember, all right, not any ordinary person. We're talking about this fully self-awakened one. I don't know how to explain it beyond what I've said. We're talking about the Buddha. Imagine like a theory of evolution, you know, we are looking at this big scale of nature. So you see these animals and beings evolving. So you're looking at the end of it, you see. So you're looking at the highly evolved being. We say, wow, how did all these beings evolve? How did humans evolve? So we're talking about this really long time, you know, very, very long time that love grows and deepens through many, many lives. And Yasodhara and the Buddha have been doing that over many, many lives. For us, in this life, we start with this life working together in a simple way, small way. Don't look down on yourself. This life, you know the Dharma. Right now, you're listening to the Sutta. What better way to understand it than listening? And the next thing is to practice it in your own small way. And before you know it, you look back and say, yeah, I've done something good here. I've been kind to someone here. Or start building it up somehow. Of course, you cannot be doing it and then looking at the same all the time. You just do it. It's just like your journey, you walk, you don't keep looking back. You just go on walking. And then before you know it, you say, oh, you can see the destination already, right? Or as they say, the watch kettle never boils. You know? And someone said that to me, but actually I once tried watching a kettle. It did boil anyway, but then you got nothing else to do, you do that. But the point is, keep doing good. And don't ask yourself, how much good have I done? It's not how much, just keep doing it. And that's how you build up this wonderful relationship. Work together, be patient with one another, learn from each other. To love is to learn. When you love each other, you also learn from each other. You find that all these differences of opinion, we're not robots. So you learn to forgive, accept each other. You can love each other, although you're different. Read the story of Nakula, how Nakula Mata counsel Nakula Pita. He accepts the husband's worries and tries to help him by reassuring him not to worry. So these are all beautiful love stories. Okay. All right. Next question, please.
Thank you, Brother Piya. The next question from Sister Grace Lim. In a marriage that ended in divorce, is this a result of karma? What is the Dharma to practice in this lifetime to break the chain and not let it recur in future lifetimes?
Okay. There is past karma and there are present conditions. Okay. In a sense, you can say past karma brought you together as a couple. Present conditions separated you. So examine what are the present conditions. Try to correct those conditions. Okay. Of course, it's up to you. See, if there's a lot of violence and you can't handle it, it's up to you what you must do. So like I said, the answer to dealing with such a person, I already answered earlier on. Listen to the answer again. Build up this loving kindness, because loving kindness also protects you. Because you know why people bully others is because there is fear. So when you show fear, people will bully you. When you don't show fear, you show this strength. And the same is a gentle strength. It's a kind strength. People are, in a sense, weakened by this kind of. They're not hurt you when they know you are kind, that you don't respond with like, you don't respond with evil. So remember happy days, the good days. Gently remind them how good they were, some happy thing in a way that will make them happy, in other words. And never play politics with the family. Don't get your children, rally them against the partner, or somehow try to explain things, because your children will follow whatever you do. So very often, if there is divorce in the family, parents divorce, children also are likely to divorce. So this happens sadly. So it's very important to teach the children that they are different people, that they got to show love and build up their own relationship, basically, and then work from there. Okay. So ask yourself, what do I learn from this? What should I do? What should I not do? All right. So because you are yourself a case in yourself. So I cannot give you a ready-made answer here. But life is so complicated. Each person, you get this idea, teaching of compassion, loving kindness, wisdom, fortitude, and then you use it for your own situation, to deal with this other difficult person. Remember, the Buddha had to deal with Angulimala, deal with Mara, and so many other people who were Devadatta and so on. And so those are the stories of showing how the Buddha dealt with difficult people. All right, so these are not easy things, but it's possible to try. And then time will be your ally. Impermanence will be your ally. It will help you. Okay? Okay. Next question, please.
Thank you, Father Piya. The next question from Brother Go HK. This is question on meditation, perhaps, so that we are not sick in mind. I find the method of meditation as taught by Venerable Sumedo known as the sound of silence. It is a method of the mind observing the sound in the mind, which I find very effective in anchoring the mind in concentration. However, it is not one of the 40 meditation objects as taught by the Buddha. What is your take on this?
Oh, the Buddha taught more than 40 methods, you know. There are many methods not recorded. The Buddha often teach unique methods to different disciples. For example, the method taught to Chula Pantaka was not recorded. You know, Chula Pantaka, he's a bit very slow. He couldn't even remember verses, you know. So the brother said, you know, you can't even remember one verse, you know, how you will never get Dharma, you know, because you can't chant all those blessings. So he was on the verge of giving up. Then the Buddha went to him and told him, he says, take a piece of cloth and just keep on rubbing, and then just say Rajo Harana, Rajo Harana. Rajo Harana means dusting, cleaning, wiping, okay? And he focused, and he saw this cloth becoming dirty. Then he reflected on impermanence. This cloth was clean, now it's dirty. And that changed his mind. He became an arhat just doing that. Of course, here the Buddha knew what he was doing. So, and this method was not among the 40. So there are unique methods. So some teachers who are good, they come to you, they might be able to give you a special teaching, and then you're very lucky. If you practice it, it works for you. Right? So if you meet such a teacher, wonderful. So that's why it's important for monks who have the opportunity to learn the Dharma, the Sutta, with the Vinaya, everything intact, going back to the Buddha. They should treasure those teachings. They're not going to become so modern and throw the baby out with the bath water, and then we have no chance to learn all these wonderful things. All we are doing is repeating what the unhappy scientists and psychologists themselves are learning, and then changing their opinions over time, you know. So whereas the Buddha's teaching is always there, the same from time to time. So sadhu, you're very fortunate if you learn something that works for you. And then, yeah, you can share it with others if it works from other people, for other people too. That's good too, right? I mean, I'm sure it worked for Smiddle, it worked for you, and it might have worked for some other monks too. All right. Okay, so there are many other teachings too, not just the 40. The 40 are the well-known ones. Okay, the listed ones, if you like. Okay. Okay, let's go on, please.
Okay, thank you, Brother Piya. The next question from LC Yo.
Okay.
With regard to the sutta about soul, my own understanding from Buddhism learned over 50 years and my interest in science, is it correct to state that within Buddhism, our understanding of ourselves is like evolution, and that through many lives, we have made mistakes and correct them by our cause and effect of karma by evolution to a higher mindset? However, I am still in question of our origin, which Buddha do not want us to be concerned with.
Evolution is a good way of thinking how we change, yes. But it goes so far back, you can't say how it all started, see? I mean, just like how life began on earth, it goes in a cycle over and over. What the Buddha is saying is you can't find the first beginning. All the best you can think, maybe say perhaps this, perhaps that. So it's a big perhaps, you see. This is what the Buddha is saying. But once you jump to conclusion, then you will get it wrong, right? So just take what is right here that you know. Use that, and that is what will help you. It's just like you're cooking something. Right? When you're cooking, you're thinking, oh dear, what have I not cooked? And so while you're thinking of what you have not cooked, you will be burning what you're cooking. So focus right now what's going on before you. And the answer lies there, okay? The rest is speculation. And there's no answer to speculation. Okay. All right, let's go on.
Thank you, Brother Piya. There's one question from Sister Pochi.
Yes.
She mentioned that she thought that we don't believe in soul.
Yes, true. Yeah.
It's a short statement.
So it's not a question.
And then, yeah. There was no more question in the chat box at the moment. Any brother or sister would like to unmute to ask your question?
Well, basically, the most important thing to remember, practical terms, the Buddha teaches impermanence. Don't worry about soul or no soul, impermanence. If you focus your mind on reflecting everything is impermanent, and you see it in your body, in your actions, in everything else, you find that's one thing you will never be wrong. Everything changes. Even our ideas change over time, right? So you go on reflecting in this way, and the Buddha says this reflection creates habitual good karma, because when you see everything as impermanent, you accept everything as being impermanent, you are going to be less attached to things, because you know you can't keep these things for long anyway. It's just like you buy good food, right? And then you say, wow, this is nice. I'm going to eat this as long as I can. And you forgot to store it properly. Next morning you open up, it's already the fungus growing there. So you find that you are impermanent, you know? So no one to be blamed, it's the nature of things. So you reflect like that. So you learn from impermanence too. And this will bring you to the path as a stream winner, right? So this idea of anicca is the key to you reaching the path. Once you reach the path, at the most 7 more lives to go, you attain stream winning. And 7 lives can be quite long, you know. If you're reborn in one of the formless realms, wow, it's just many world cycles, you know. You know how long one world cycle is, but those Brahmas living in the formless world, many world cycles. And at the highest of the formless world, 84,000 world cycles. Can you imagine how long that is, right? So impermanence is the key to awakening for lay people anyway. Right, any other questions?
Father Piya, at the moment, there's no more question in the chat box.
All right.
Yeah, no. Still waiting. Oh, yeah, Sister Puji. Do you have a question, Sister Puji?
Yes, I do. Brother Piya, we believe in no soul, but this thing about transference of merits is very a bit confusing for me.
Oh, very
because
true.
we also believe in rebirth, right? So if the person has been reborn, where does the transference of merit go?
Very good. Sadhu to your question. In your question lies the answer. I have to be very direct with this. You know, I've been talking again and again. There is no such thing as transference of merit. It's invented by the Sinhalese monk to transfer funds. Simple as that. Merit cannot be transferred. It's not a thing. It's not like money. See, there's no such word as transference of merit in the Sutta. All these words are invented later. See, there is, at best, you can say dedication of merit. There are two key suttas to understand what happens in this. That is the Tirokuda Sutta, and the other is the Saddha Janusoni Sutta, which is in last year's Sutta series. It's all there, right? Okay, merit cannot be transferred because merit is your karma, you see. So, and the next good thing I'm very happy to hear is there is no such thing as dead people. They're all reborn. Our descendants are all, I mean, our ancestors, our dead relatives, are all reborn somewhere, see. The only concern we have when we do dedication of merits is that they may still get caught up with attachment and craving to this present life as pretas or as intermediate beings. In other words, they're stuck there in this consciousness is like, it can't move on, you know, because they don't have the no energy anymore, because no karmic energy. And it is their desire, their craving keeps them stuck. It's like you want to, you can't leave the home of your children. You're so happy that very hard to go away, very hard to say goodbye, something like that. Okay. So when we dedicate merits, if you look at the Tirokuda Sutta, the key idea is your loving kindness. When you are praying, I'm using the word praying the Buddhist way, when you're praying for the dead, you assume that they are caught up with as a preta somewhere nearby, and they can see you, they can hear you, but they can't really communicate properly. So, and you do in the group as a family, even friends, by the way, you can do it for anybody, not just relatives, okay? And then you get into a very happy state, you do dana, you do something good, you do metta bhavana, metta cultivation, something really good, and you have this wonderful atmosphere, joyful atmosphere. Then you say, I gathered here in memory of so-and-so who has been kind and good to us. Wherever you are, you like you're talking to this deceased, departed. Say, wherever you are, may you be well and happy. May you be at peace with yourself. Just let go of whatever is before you here and be well and happy. So when they hear that, it's like, you know, you get a surprise birthday party, and then you think you come home all alone, dark, nobody there, and then suddenly the lights gone, your friends are all there saying, happy birthday, and you're so happy, you know. They say, oh, these people do care for me. And from being depressed, despondent, you become happy. This joy arises in you. So the Peta also like that. They see you remember them, your relatives see you remembering them, the joy arises in them, and that frees them from the suffering state. Nothing is transferred.
So why are we doing it?
Because we do not know where they are reborn. We do not know whether there are pretas or not. Okay. Well, the simple answer for you is you don't have to do it. Okay. All that we need to do is we say, may all our relatives be well and happy. And you remember your departed ones, that's your memories. You don't know where they're born, you see. You say, may you be happy, right? And by doing, and when you do something good, you say, I'm doing this in memory of my father, my mother, so and so. That is dedication of merit, better than transference of merit. Forget about transference of merit. It's a big con game invented by the Singhalese monks. Believe me, I'm not telling you something bad, something wrong here. There is no basis in the sutta for this. And it is being misused, causing confusion and wrong practice. And it's our task to correct this. Dedication of merit for those of you who want to practice it. That means you must make the effort. You must cultivate loving kindness. You do it together as a family. No need professionals, because this professional, you do it, it's just a business. Do it yourself. For those you love, that's the proper way. This is what I'm trying to say. Somewhere along the line, Buddhism became a business. We don't want that kind of business because it teaches us the wrong thing, and we're not even helping our relatives this way. All right, so remember, dedication of merit. Yes, you're right. Though when people die, they are reborn. Only if they remain as pitā, we try to help them. And we do not know whether they are in that suffering state or not. The Buddha says we will always have some kind of relative who are stuck in that area. So, and when we dedicate loving kindness and merits to these beings, somehow they will benefit. And they may not be even our relatives, they could be our friends. We can still do that for our friends, people we know, you know. So remember, the basis of dedication of merit is your loving kindness. That's the engine that radiates it, that pushes it ahead. Okay, so this is according to what I understand from the suttas and the Buddha's teaching.
That brings me to the next question, Brother Piya.
Yes.
So all these things about hungry ghosts and going to the grave, is just a cultural thing, right?
Yes, cultural, yeah. You know, those days, you know, once you have a grave, if you don't, you go there 1 year, you see overgrown jungle, you don't know where the grave is. So the Chinese are very clever. They introduce a practice. So they call it grave cleaning day. It's a great idea. Once a year you go there, you clean the place. But now, like in Singapore, you don't see those graves anymore. They're luxury. There's not enough land here. We go to the columbariums, you know, and we simplify the rituals. Of course, in Malaysia, you still have land, you know. And the idea of cleaning the grave is great, but don't kill. Keep the 5 precepts when you observe this cultural thing, and it's a cultural observance. So even if you do at home, also same, because the person has passed away, that person is not at that grave, you know, the person is reborn somewhere. So from wherever you are, you send your thoughts out. That's the Buddhist way. You send your thoughts to the deceased, to the departed. You know, I'm happy to see that many of you actually have the right view. It's just that all these practices, superstition, sometimes make us lose faith, and we don't know what we are thinking, but actually you're thinking the right thing, normal, intelligent people. So be careful of these wrong views. That's why we need to know the suttas. The suttas teach us simple, clear, plain truth. So go back to the Dharma, in other words. Okay?
Yeah, but Brother Piya, but if you're married into a very, very traditional family that goes to the grave and kneel down and pray with a big roasted pig and all that kind of thing, and you are the only one who's wondering what is going on.
Okay.
It's so difficult, you know.
Yes. Try to get more friends around you and then see how you can do things with them. Yeah, in a sense, you can, you know, like open up your mind again, just accept the family. And then those who will listen to you, those you can communicate, you can slowly explain to them over time. It's just that your task is a bit bigger, and then see how far you can reach. I believe as long as you communicate with them, somehow something will reach. Yet someone who's intelligent enough there, and you have one more person, and then 2, and then 3, build it up bit by bit. So that's the way it is, because we live in a society which is really complicated, but it doesn't mean we should give up. Respect people's ways, yes, but at the same time we can tell them we are doing this as part of a family, but I don't think this is the way it works, and explain clearly to them if they are willing to listen. And somehow they're always willing to listen. The question is, are we willing to work hard to educate them bit by bit or not? What do we do when people are blind? We try to lead them, we try to tell them. We can talk about the light, it can be difficult for them, but you try to be there for them somehow. So do what you can, basically. And then try to contact others. You're not alone, there are others who face the same thing, and then try to help each other, give support. Okay, so don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't feel angry or hateful about this, but take it as it's life's comedy. You know, people do silly things, they don't even know what it is, but they keep doing it and they think it is great. So get the right friends to be with you somehow, and some of them are here with you. Okay, here we are with you, talking to you, because we know you think rightly, you think wisely, and don't give up. Basically, we are here for you. We do what we can.
Brother Piya, you mentioned 2 suttas relating to this question just now.
Yes.
Can you repeat, please?
Tiro Kuda Sutta.
How do you spell?
I tell you what, you message me, Ratna, on the Telegram. We'll send them to you.
Okay.
Very easily.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what the Telegram is for.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you for asking this very important question. Yes.
Thank you, Brother Piya. Sister SKEGSS4 has raised her hand. Sister SKEGSS4, can you please unmute to ask your question?
Yeah, Brother Piya.
Yes, go ahead.
As an extension to Sister Pochi's question,
yes.
There are many occasions when we been encouraged to also share merits with someone who is still alive and is very sick, and that in the certain sense is also provided that the alive patient is able to rejoice, right? And not just like we share merits with.
Okay, yes. For the living, you radiate metta, you communicate with metta. You know, animals can sense it. We can sense it with people. When we go near people, you can sense this, whether it's good or bad aura, we say, right? But loving kindness creates that good aura. It's not merits here, it's your loving kindness, okay? So in a sense, you have to revise all these things. And we got to start telling the monks, please read the suttas. Please do not bring in your culture here. That is Sinhalese culture. You know, in Sri Lanka also, those laymen, they have nothing to do with their monks, you know. So these monks are all going overseas, earning a living, getting monthly salary, their own cars and things like that. And because they're having a good life here. Like in Sri Lanka, nobody cares for them. You see, because there are laymen there who work by themselves, who study by themselves, who join our sutta class. So happy, you know, to know the suttas by themselves, right? So go back to the Buddha. All I'm saying is go back to the Buddha. Don't get lost. This time has come. It's like our last chance. You know, you have the suttas with you now, and then if you forget the suttas, you go back to the Stone Age, right? So go back to the suttas. Study what you can. You don't have to study everything. Select those which will help you, and then slowly, when you are in the right position to bring change, bring that change, so that more people will benefit. It's not easy, but this is what Buddhism is about. So for the living, loving kindness, cultivation of loving kindness to the sick, right? You know, you gather around a sick person with this wonderful aura of loving kindness, wishing this person well, this person ought to feel happy. Like, remember the story of Nakula, Pitā, who was sick, and the wife was the only person there beside him. But here you have friends around this sick person. The worst thing that can happen is the person dies happy. You see, and that's a wonderful thing. Yeah, one more thing about dying. We've been told that the last stop moment is the most important, right? There's another wrong view you have to correct. It's not true. It is not correct to say a person has been good his whole life and then he dies with a bad thought he was going to be reborn in a bad state. There's nowhere in the suttas you have that kind of teaching. Okay? The habitual karma will decide your rebirth. The habitual karma, not the last thought moment. This last thought moment is a later Abhidharma idea. It's not found in the suttas. I was quite happy to see this, when the monks were, correcting all these wrong views. So this is when we are slowly going back to the suttas, learning what actually the Buddha taught, not what later tradition, ethnic traditions telling us. People who don't know the suttas, who don't even keep the Vinaya. Okay, so even as laymen, you can practice going back to the suttas by yourself. It's possible. You have to do that, otherwise we don't know anything anymore. Is it? Okay, very good, very good. Your questions are very good.
Can I just clarify that I understood this correctly? So for the living, because there's quite frequently where you say, oh, you go and do good deeds, and then you share this with, because he's so sick and you kind of want to help, but that's not possible just by radiating metta. That's only what you can do, right? But for that person, for a living person who could understand or who could rejoice in your good deeds, then only you can benefit. That's correct?
Yes, that is true. You remember, metta, loving kindness, is expressed in 3 ways: body, speech, and mind. It starts with the mind or heart. We say heart of loving kindness, mind of loving kindness. And then your speech also loving kindness, say happy things, beautiful things, make the person happy. Words are very powerful. Okay, they can create, they can destroy, they can heal. Okay, healing words. And then actions also with loving kindness. Okay, sometimes gently holding an old person's hands, makes the person feel comfortable. Old people, they feel lonely and fearful. Sometimes you just be there near them, saying some comforting words will help them. Just listening to them, they'll say some things you don't understand, but all they're saying is they are afraid, they're lonely. These 2 things, fear and loneliness, very common as people age. You will know this when you age yourself. So they are going to that stage. So be there for them. We got to care for the old people more. So this is the thing about like Singapore, very affluent society. We stop caring for the old already. We send them to old folks home. You know what happens to the old folks home? They are lonely. I have a nursing home right beside our flats. You hear all kind of funny sounds at night. You see, they're lonely there, and there are stories they get beaten up even. There was a paper story. One of the workers that beat up this poor old man. There are cases like this. So there are a lot of things we Buddhists can do. Don't talk about saving the world. Don't talk about all the beings of the world. You got to help yourself first, and help these people who are nearest to you. Get together. You can't do it alone, but you can do it as a group. You can do it as a common effort, and you find your life is so much enriched, and you're practicing the Dharma as you do this, and you feel so fulfilled. You say, wow, this is what the Buddha is trying to tell us. A heart of loving kindness, words of loving kindness, acts of loving kindness. Do that, and then you find you learn a lot of things. Okay, on that note, we have gone slightly beyond time.
Can I just ask one last one?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think on the explanation about the habitual karma and the last thought moment, I think there are different types of that, and it takes precedence depending on if it's the weighty karma, then that would take precedence, right? And then followed by habitual or. Okay,
that's what the Singlish have been teaching us, Oh,
that's not correct.
Yeah, commentaries. There is no hierarchy in the suttas.
Oh, okay.
Because see, death is a really unpredictable thing. All right, so it's so easy to say, oh, okay, these are the things 1, 2, 3, 4, but we don't know what's really happening. Important thing is you can give a person quality life and a quality death also. That's the meaning here. Be there for that person. Okay, we will continue next round. Okay, next round we'll be talking about the Chula Malunkyā Putta Sutta. Yeah? So tonight, I'm very happy you all are very excited asking so many wonderful questions. Okay, so All right. Are we ready to end? Yes.
We will take a picture first.
Yeah, take picture. Video, please. Yeah. Okay. Video on. Now, who is Dharma 1, 2, 3, 4? No name there. Okay. Rana is taking picture, right?
Yes, I'm waiting for everyone.
All right. Let's get ready. It's so wonderful to have you all and to know asking very good questions. That is the way it should be.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Chao Eng, you got video. Chao Eng, James Lee.
Yeah, some don't have
Are you
camera.
sure?
Camera not working, I think.
Not working.
Yeah.
Okay. Get ready, please. 1, 2, 3, smile. And don't be so serious, brother Yen. Smile a bit. Okay, we try one more time.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, smile.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, now let us close this with a closing salutation.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'll share the screen soon. I think there are some questions that are unanswered. So if brother and sister who wants your question answered, you can post them in Telegram.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, we'll go on with the closing puja now. Thank you.
Do address to me so that I know I have to answer it and mention the lesson. That helps it better.
Okay.
This is how we dedicate marriage with loving kindness. We have gathered here from all different parts of the world with one aim to study the suttas, the Buddha's teachings, that we can become better people and help others to be happier. We have recited the precepts, we have done some meditation, and we have also listened to the suttas and investigated the Dharma. It's all very wonderful, good karma. By the power of all these good deeds we have done, may we be well and happy, be at peace with ourselves, and have the courage to go deeper in the Dharma and aspire to stream winning in this life itself. And also we dedicate these thoughts of loving kindness to others, our loved ones, relatives and friends, even our enemies. So send to those people who are significant to you that they may be well and happy. Use this moment of peace to send out that wonderful feeling to them, wherever they may be. And now let us close by showing our gratitude to the three jewels. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Bow down. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Bow down. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Bow down. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And may you all be well and happy and wiser each day.
Thank you, Brother Piya.
Thank you.